Welcome back. You're listening to episode 74 of Untapped Confidence, where we dive into every single little detail of how to build authentic confidence. What is authentic confidence? It's being able to be unapologetically you, and not in a F you to the world kind of way, in a really grounded, secure, stable kind of way, in a peaceful kind of way, in a bold kind of way. It's where you wake up in the morning and you look forward to the day, where you're not afraid to speak your mind, where you can get out of your head and get into your body and appreciate and really enjoy the little moments in life. It's where you feel like you don't have to be constantly striving, where you get a break from that constant sense of urgency. You're really truly able to slow down and relax and just be. It's the kind of confidence where you can be the least skilled or knowledgeable in the room and you feel comfortable. You feel like an equal. It's where you can make a mistake or you can have a really rough week and you still feel good about yourself. Life just gets easier when we have authentic confidence, when we have that real strong stability within ourselves. My name is Rafaela Marie. I am your host. I've gone from literally having zero confidence, self-esteem, and self-worth to where I really didn't like myself. I'll go so far as to say I hated myself, to being who I am today and being all the things that I just described. Through building authentic confidence, I now live a life that I absolutely love. I love being who I am. Being in my own mind is comforting. It also allowed me to heal from 15 years of chronic skin picking. And it's the method and the approach I take to helping other incredible people who struggle with the same thing to find control and freedom and peace within themselves. In this episode, I had a really incredible conversation with Karen Theimer. We talked about how breathwork can help you process what you've been carrying, sometimes for years or generations, without having to figure it out in your head. Because if you're a high achiever, like a lot of my listeners are, we tend to end up on our heads a lot. So it's really nice to have another avenue to help us process what's going on without having to be in our heads about it. We talk about how the body naturally knows how to regulate, why so many of us block that process, and how to use the breath to come back to a place of peace and clarity. We talk about how trauma and generational patterns show up in the body, why you don't need to understand your pain to start letting it go, and simple grounding practices that you can use right now. She even shares a short, powerful breathwork technique at the end of this episode that will instantly bring you back to the present moment when your mind is spinning. She did this with me, on me, and I can say that it is very effective, and I have used it since this conversation. If you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or disconnected from your body, this conversation is a beautiful invitation to slow down, breathe, and trust your body's innate wisdom to guide you back to yourself. And if you tend to get in your head, you gotta listen to this. Without further ado, let's get into this week's episode. To the listeners who don't really, they probably heard of breath work, but don't really know much about it. What is breath work?
Great question. And thank you, Rafaela, for having me on here today. Breath work. Well, breath is everything, because without breath, well, we're not going to be here, right? Having this conversation. So breath work, there's many different types of breath work. And what it does is it helps to teach you how to use breath as a tool to calm down your nervous system. So when we're in that fight or flight and we're, getting anxious, having anxiety, being nervous, being in fear, whatever that is for you, it's a tool to just, okay, if we just close our eyes, if we can, obviously if we're not driving, but to close our eyes and just focus on slowing down that breath. It calms down the nervous system. And it helps us to be able to think more clearly. When we're in fight or flight, we can't think clearly. And that's where a lot of times errors can happen, right? Another type of breath work, what else I do is called elemental rhythm. And what I do is I help people let go of things that no longer serve them. We're great at humans of bearing our emotions. I'm fine, until all of a sudden we snap at somebody for no reason. So this type of breath work helps to bring up that stuff, help you get clarity and to let it go, right? Many people find, and myself, it's taught me how to trust in the process, how to let go of my own issues, my own past traumas, and to be able to release emotions that I've buried for a very long time. So it gives people permission to release, get unstuck, find more clarity, trust in the process, And most people also say that they're sleeping better as well when we're focusing on breath. So that's
Wow,
what I
that's
do.
a really, yeah, thank you for that. That's a really clear explanation of what it is, which I'm sure everyone can understand from what you've been sharing. And what stood out to me, and this is something that I've talked about in with my clients in a group session, is that we so often can get stuck in our heads of trying to figure out the solution that we forget that we can really trust our body to do the processing for us. And to me, that sounds like that's really what breath work helps us do. It's learning to trust our bodies to process and do its job because our body is designed, our nervous system is designed to regulate itself. And sometimes when we get too much in our heads, we're kind of blocking that. We're blocking our body from doing what it's really, really good at, what it's designed over hundreds of millions of years, what it's been designed to do.
Yeah.
Our brain can block that. And so breath work sounds like it's just a really tangible tool that we can use to help us trust our bodies to do its thing. And what I really like about it as well is that you don't have to believe you're capable because you are designed to be able to do it.
Yes.
So it's just being open enough to try it and to implement it, and you will feel the benefits.
Yeah. And I find too what I teach people is as well is that when you're feeling anxious and you're running around like a mad person and all of a sudden you just go that's your body trying to regulate yourself. Okay, let's slow down for a second, right? Let's catch our breath. Right? That's a signal like you were saying, right? The body knows
Mm.
how to regulate itself. So when we all of a sudden just take that deep breath, we're not even aware of it, right? That's your body trying to regulate. Even too, like people will just stretch and put their hands behind their neck and just stretch automatically. That's again your body trying to regulate itself.
Right. I
Just
love that you brought that up. It's like these little signs of your body is trying to do its thing. We're just not giving it the space. And I like that you mentioned that we'll have moments of the day where we'll just take a deep breath in.
mhm.
And it feels like and I'm guessing the kind of breath you're talking about is like the really deep breath. You're like, "Oh, that feels really good. I feel like I haven't breathed all day," and suddenly your body just makes you breathe.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah.
really clear indication that you're probably dysregulated and your body needs you to kind of give it some space to do its thing.
Yeah. And to pay attention, right? Like how
Yeah.
often we
Yeah.
just breathe automatically. We don't pay attention to how many beats per minute and what's happening when we're breathing and bringing oxygen to our cells and breathing in oxygen and letting go of CO2 and like all that like and we don't even think about it. Are we breathing shallow? Are we breathing deep? Fast, slow, all that. Like we don't even pay attention. So it's really good to pause for a second. And I always tell people around meals, right? Because there we're sitting, we're getting ready to eat a beautiful meal, hopefully, and just check in for a second. How are you breathing? Are you breathing shallow, deep, slow, fast? Where are you at? Right?
Mm.
So just again,
It's
bringing
really,
awareness to our breath and then carry on.
yeah.
Just bring awareness. That's it. Don't make any big deal about it. Just bring awareness.
Hmm. Yeah, it's I really like the simplicity of it because I
Hmm.
think sometimes we tend to overcomplicate things a lot. We think, well, this is a big problem in my life, so I need a big solution. When it
Yeah.
can just be as simple as just take little moments in a day to just become aware and then move on.
Yep. Yep. Because your body's going to automatically, it's like, oh, yeah, look at that. I am breathing shallow. And then you're going to automatically take a deep breath in, which is funny, right? That actually happened to me this morning. I was feeling all this anxiousness and this, like, just not settled, not grounded. I'm like, what is going on, right? Like, and I've been feeling like that for a few days. And I thought, I don't know if there's weird energy in this world, right? Well, there probably is, right? But weird energy
Probably.
out there. And it's like, what's going on? And then this morning, I talk to little Karen all the time, right? I always talk to my inner child all the time, like, hey, where are we at right now? Right. And then automatically I took a deep breath and then I had a big cry. Like it was just like these
Mm,
tears. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm crying about. Blah, 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 blah. And then I realized what it was about. And it's like, okay, that was a good cry. Thank you. And now I moved it. Right. I've
mm,
just created space to breathe because I've let something go that I've been sitting with. And I don't even know what I'm sitting with until I just stay quiet for a second. So it was
yeah.
it was interesting this morning on my drive to the gym. So
Yeah. That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
And I like that, you know, there wasn't the, "Oh, I feel bad. How can I figure this out? Where this coming from?" It was just, "I feel I don't feel well, and then allowing that energy to flow through, which came out as crying.
Yeah.
It's not gripping onto it and thinking, oh, where is this coming from? Why is it happening to me? Oh my God. Because then we just hold on to that for longer and longer and longer. And really, our body just needed us to process that emotion,
Yes.
sometimes through crying, sometimes through other means. And then we're okay. We've processed it.
Yeah. And we've
Yeah.
released it, which is
Yeah.
nice, right? Because I didn't even know what it was going on the last few days. I'm just like, why am I
Hmm.
feeling this? Like, what's going on? What am I nervous about? And I get in too much in my head because I'm still a human at the end of the day, right? So get too much in my head. And then I'm like, okay, so what's this all about? And all this. And then how about you just sit quiet and just allow the tears to come out? Because we're taught at a very young age to not show emotion, whether we're by
Hmm.
ourselves or not, right? So
Hmm.
it was a good one this morning.
That's a good one. I'm happy for you. I'm
Yeah,
glad you had that.
that was a good one.
Very, very appropriate for our conversation today.
Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful.
So then what do you notice in the people that come to you to do, and I want to ask you a bit more about the specific kind of breath work that you do, but I'm really curious, what are the typical problems that people who want to do breath work with you, what are the typical problems that they have when they come
Most
to you?
most people are just feeling stuck.
Mm.
And then they happen to hear how breath work can help you get unstuck. A lot of people who come in don't even know what they're getting themselves into just for whatever reason. They're like, oh, yeah, let's try this out. Right. Or they've heard from a friend. But I would say most people who are coming in have a little bit of an idea, but not necessarily know what they're getting, what they're going to experience, because I don't even know what they're going to experience. All I do know is they're going to uh, come away with something, right? Or let go of something. Right. So I would say most people are just feeling really stuck and just kind of like, I don't know how to deal with this and whatever it is for them, right? Or they're just exhausted. And I find a lot of
Hmm.
people are exhausted right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Mm.
can so I can so see that too. So it really sounds like people pretty much people feeling stuck, which is a lot of people these days. People feeling stuck, but also they're open to the fact that it could be different. Because I think a
Yes.
lot of people feel stuck, but they think, well, that's just life.
Yeah. Or they're
Yeah.
feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot of
Yeah.
overwhelmed out there and overwhelmed is it's a funny feeling. Like it's just like, okay, so like what are you overwhelmed about? I was feeling overwhelmed about something a few months back and it's like, what is this? Again, like what am I feeling overwhelmed about? I got no time and na. And then I'm like, Karen, you've got all the time in the world. Like time is not my problem. Right?
Mhm.
I have the energy, I have the time, financially I'm doing pretty good. And so it's like, okay, so what is it? It's managing my time. So when you get an overwhelm, because that's another thing people come in with this, they're just feeling overwhelmed, but I help them through breath, through coaching on, okay, let's break that down. What is overwhelmed? How are you spreading yourself out too thin? Where can you cut back on things?
Mhm. Yeah,
And
it's
sometimes
really incredible. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
It's just really incredible how our brains can make things so much harder. Like you said, it's like I actually have all the time in the world. Why am I getting stressed about time? And it's just the management of it, which is it is. I mean, some people truly really have a lot packed in to their
Yes.
lives, but even still, there are some people who really don't like they have the space, they have the time, but there's still the mentality, there's still the energy of I don't have time.
Yeah. Or people want to
And
do it all.
exactly, exactly.
And
There's like this the unrealistic expectations of what they actually have the capacity for.
yeah,
100% is a big thing I see as well.
yeah.
And it's also it almost sounds like breath work helps people to shift that energy
Yes.
so they're not so they can get out of that loop and see things differently. How accurate does that sound for you for your work that you do? Real quick, you might know by now, but I struggled with chronic skin picking for 15 years. And building authentic confidence, learning how to let go of perfectionism, slow down, and be kinder to myself, it honestly was the thing that helped me find freedom from chronic skin picking, that I developed a program based specifically around that. It addresses the root cause of chronic skin picking. We don't mess around with surface level solutions, with wearing gloves and covering mirrors. Of course, if you like doing that, awesome. But in Strength, the program that I've created, we go much, much deeper. And it is so much more than just stopping skin picking. It's about you becoming the most powerful, the most confident, the most authentic version of you. I know what it's like to not feel that way. And when I started to learn how to change that, how to get unstuck, how to access that power within myself, I became determined to give that experience to as many people as possible, which is what Strength is all about. You not only reduce the length, severity, and frequency of chronic skin picking, you not only gain more control over it, you'll gain so much more of yourself and your life back. If you feel drawn to this, I would love to invite you to apply to join us today. It is application only because this kind of journey is not for everyone. So I want to make sure that this is really, truly the right thing for you. And if you are really resonating with my words right now, if you are feeling inspired, motivated, hope through what you are hearing, then it is highly likely that this is the path for you. So go ahead and click on the link in the show notes, check out the details of Strength, and apply to join us. Let's get back into the episode.
Absolutely accurate, right? Because some people, they just leave and they're like, oh, I feel just peaceful. I feel so calm. And I'm like, good. Because isn't that what we want? Is to
Mm,
feel peace and calm, right? And sometimes people get like connected to their loved ones who have passed on, or have a memory that it's like,
mm,
oh yeah, I remember, like, with this person, or I used to play this, and something I've been thinking about, and maybe it's time to go do that again. And but I find a lot of people do find peace and calm, and it's like, good, remember that
mm.
feeling, because you can come back to that feeling anytime.
Yeah. And you
You
have a
just
tool that can help you do that, which is
That's
breath
right.
work.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. And you actually answered my next question. I was going to ask you, what are the results they typically get? What do they walk away with? You said more peace, more calm. They connect to loved ones that have passed on. And is there anything else that stands out to you that people tend to gain from this kind of work?
Some people gain, like I had a lady recently who, um, she found out what her life's purpose was. Like she was
Wow.
ecstatic. It was a huge breakthrough for her.
That's beautiful.
And all of a sudden she goes, I get it. I know what my purpose is. And it was this major aha for her. Shifted a little bit in the direction that she was going in. And actually, I need to reach out to her because it's been a while to see how things are going with her business and stuff. So yeah, it can give you clarity on, what do you need to do next,
That's
right?
really incredible.
Yeah, and I find like breath work for me, it helped me a lot with like trust, like I was mentioning earlier, and forgiveness with my dad. I didn't have a great relationship with my dad, and I wish he was here today because things would be different. However, I understand we need to go through what we need to go through. But it's helped me with forgiveness. It's helped others with forgiveness of themselves, of other people. Like there's so much.
Mm,
There's so much.
yeah. So the core things that I'm seeing here, it helps you to process emotion that you're
Yes.
potentially struggling through. And it sounds like it also, like with the client you were just talking about, it sounds like it helps to clear the noise so you can connect to your intuition and let that speak to you.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's awesome. Breath work. I've never done breath work. I've done breath work exercises,
Ah,
like box breathing and stuff like that. But I've never actually done a breathwork course, which is also why I was so excited to talk to you because I really want to pick your brain, see what is it about breathwork? Because I've had so many amazing things. So this is really cool,
so I'll
personally,
take
and I'm
you
sure the
through it.
listeners are loving it too. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know what? We'll book a time where we're on Zoom and it works out in both our time schedules. And well, I'll take you through some breath work and show you what it's
Oh,
all
that
about.
would be amazing. That would be
Fun.
amazing. I'd be so excited to do that. That'd be so
Perfect.
cool.
Yeah.
So that actually, what came to my mind while you were talking though is what is the most profound result from breath work that you've seen someone experience? Or
Honestly,
it doesn't have to be the most profound, but you were going to answer, so please do.
yeah, that lady was a big one. And just there's never just one thing. You know what? You know what I love to see is, well, all of it, all of it. But when somebody has a good, big, deep cry, I know they've let something go that's big. And I had a one-on-one, most of my classes are group, but I had a one-on-one client recently who, she wasn't comfortable being in a group, and she let some tears go, and it was fantastic. It was just so fantastic. It's like, wow, that was a big one. Or sometimes I encourage people to scream because again, it's just another way of moving that energy, right? And giving yourself permission to just be like, right?
Yeah,
Swear it out, scream it out, whatever you need to do, just move it, right? So when I see people just really get out of their heads and into their body and just allow things to come out, it's a beautiful thing.
that
And
is
I'm
so
grateful, I'm
beautiful.
super grateful that I can hold that space for them to allow them that they feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable.
And it shows the fact that you've had clients that are able to break down like that in front of you really shows what a safe space you're able to create, which I think is really special.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how euphoric it must have felt for that client of yours to just be able to just let that out because it sounds like she must have been holding on to that for a very long time and just never
Yeah.
felt like she had the space to really process it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Mm.
love that. Even when people like I have client like people come in and they're in their 70s and they've just started their journey. It's like, why did I
Mm.
wait so long? And it's like, who cares? Right? Like
I
just
like that.
I'm like better now than never, right? Because you're just going to bring it into another life, the next life anyway. However, but
hmm
kudos to you. My mom was in her 80s. She passed away at 89. And at before, like I would say like a year before, all of a sudden she's like, I feel like this isn't working for me anymore. And she wanted to all of a sudden now go see a naturopath and learn more things, get more tools at her age, right? I'm like, kudos to you. She was such an inspiration for me. But and kudos to her in her 80s, all of a sudden she's like, oh, I think maybe I want to change some things, right? So anyway, but yeah.
That's really cool. So inspiring. I gotta
Yeah,
say, it's really, and I also just want to point out this is a conversation I've had before, is that I think a lot of people who are older may beat themselves up when they have that self awareness, they start to work on themselves. They think, well, why didn't I do this sooner?
yeah,
And I just got to say, people in my generation, younger or a bit older, we're very lucky to have been born in the age that we have because the way society views these things, it's so open. The information is so there. The societal perspective on personal development and mental health is just, it's so different than 20, 30 years ago.
yes.
And that, like, that has such an impact.
Yeah. And I feel like people right now are searching. They're searching for something they know intuitively and they don't even realize it that there's something else. There's something more to life than what I'm living. But then a lot of times fear kicks in, right?
hmm
The monkey mind starts
Yeah,
chattering.
exactly. And
And
the
so,
thing is, I think, yeah, I think as well, this, it's the way the world is thinking, or at least, the Western world, because we're in the Western world, but it's the way the Western world is thinking of like, oh, there's more to this. How can I look deeper? How can I go deeper? And that's not to say that other cultures don't do that. I just can't speak for them because I have no idea.
yeah,
Um, but as like, past 100 years or more, it's been filled with war, famine, survival. And it's really been relatively recently where we've really been able to just not have to worry about that. And that has
right.
allowed people to think differently.
Yeah.
And
And
I
we
really see, yeah. And then, as well, people then are also healing all the trauma that built up through all the generations of war and famine and hardship and survival.
yeah.
Now that's being processed. It couldn't be processed then because everyone
Right.
was in survival, but it can be processed now. And that's
Yeah.
kind of like what people say with breaking the cycle, I think.
It's important because if you think of well, I'm going to use mental health, anxiety, depression, addiction, abuse, like all of that. How many generations back did that start? We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So where did that even stop and start? And it takes someone to break that generational trauma to say, I'm done. I need a better life. I want something new. I'm tired of the whatever the addiction is. I'm tired of feeling anxious. I'm tired of, having anxiety or feeling whatever. I need a better life. It's work, but it's so worth it in the long run. So that to me is someone finally going, okay, it's time, not really knowing necessarily to break that generational trauma, right? So I mean, it goes back years ago. I've been working on, I've done a lot of my grandmother was a survivor of the Holocaust, right?
Wow.
And my dad was taken away at a very young age from his family when the parents were taken away. He was rescued by a gentleman, Nicholas Winton, who rescued 669 Jewish kids. And one of those kids was my dad. I mean, that can be a whole other podcast, but
Mm-hmm.
so it's like all these generational traumas that I've been, since on my journey that I've healed, that's allowed, it becomes part of you, but you don't also have to carry their stuff either. I used to get some
Yeah.
crazy fears of being tortured and, like, I don't know, it was crazy. And I'm like, I don't even know where these fears come from. Like, I don't even know what this is until I started diving deeper into my journey with the plant medicine and coaching and all that kind of stuff, where all of a sudden I
Yeah.
learned, oh, this isn't even my stuff.
Yeah.
This is their stuff.
Yeah. So
So,
much of, yeah, there's a lot of the stuff, especially if there's a lot of trauma in your family history.
yeah,
There's a lot of the stuff that you carry that was never yours.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Even like you were mentioning about survival, right? Living in survival, people who hoard things. That's
Mm,
so generational stuff, right? Because what would happen if a war broke out, or I mean, not always everybody understands that, but it's that back in the war days or Holocaust days or whatever their
mm,
family is from, it's from that people. One of the reasons why I believe why people hoard things, because what happens if the world ends and we don't have anything?
yeah.
Right? I think there's a lot more to that as well. The fear
Yeah.
of letting go too, right? Like, who am I if I don't
Yeah.
have all this
Yeah.
stuff? So yeah, it's fascinating to me around that.
Yeah. It fascinates me too. And what actually came to my mind that you said that your grandfather was in the Holocaust is that so was mine, except
Ah,
he was on the other side. He was a Nazi,
okay.
which
Interesting.
is very, very interesting. He was not a very nice man, a very cruel, cold man. And he absolutely, there's a lot of trauma there that I've had to process, even though I never met him. He died before I was born. But
Right.
it's really interesting how both generations from both sides are carrying the consequences
Yeah. It's
of
interesting we're having this conversation, eh? Look at
it
that.
is. It
Wow.
is,
Okay.
right?
No coincidence, no coincidence, right? Two
Mhm.
different worlds, but it doesn't define who we are either, right?
No, not at all. Not at
But
all. It's
you carry,
really
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
mhm. Yeah. And I also wanted to say my dad's dad, that was my mum's dad. My dad's dad was also in the war, but he was on the other side. He wasn't a Jew, but he was fighting in the war on the other side somewhere.
Right.
I'm not sure where he was. But both sides, so many horrible things were
Yeah.
happening. And so much programming was being done, and all that was being then passed on to their kids, my parents, then passed on to me. And
Yeah.
then also you had the same experience.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's so many people who can really resonate with this conversation and
Yeah.
see, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was never processed, and I'm now doing it now.
Yeah. And I think with everything um that has gone on in the world in like even during COVID, right? Like everybody's locked down. I think that amplified a lot of people's traumas, and
Hmm.
especially lineage stuff, right?
Yeah.
Generational trauma as well. And I think like even now with everything happening, it's triggering people. And this is just such past stuff that people are getting triggered, and this is just something that's triggering them, if that makes sense,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
into politics, right? So I'm just like, what can I do to make the world a better place than what I came into, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
we're in interesting
100%.
times right now.
Yeah. And I can
So
really see with what you shared about breath work how that can really help us to process that because it's not something if something if if we have that generational trauma, we can't conceptualize it. We can't pinpoint a time in our life or like, oh, that's why I feel that way. That's why that's there. Because sometimes bringing the understanding can really help us to process and to reconcile and to let go. But what
yes,
happens when we can't do that because we don't actually have the memories for
yeah,
that?
yeah,
And so that's where I really think, hmm, breath work plays such a powerful role is because you're just trusting your body to do its thing, to process, to move that. And I think that because I had this conversation with my clients, they all said, it's nice. It feels like a weight off my shoulders that I don't have to figure out everything on my own. I can
yeah.
shift some of that to my body to just kind of, you can help, like you can do your thing and help me with this and help me process this. I don't have to think about it so much.
Right. Yeah. I know I have a friend of mine, she's a coach, and she used to always say to me, if you can label it, that's not it. Like it's deeper, your stuff. And I'm like, because I was like, my marriage had fallen apart, whatever, almost 10 years ago. And I was like, I finally figured out what happened. No, 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 no. She's like, oh, okay, good. Tell me more, right? Like getting me to talk about it. And all of a sudden she goes, honey, that ain't it. And I'm like, what do you mean that's not it? And she goes, if you can label what you think is your problem, that's not it. Like it's deeper than that, right? I mean,
Hmm.
sometimes it is, right? But for the most part, if you think you know what it is, or you're trying to figure it out and that kind of stuff, that's not it. I was like, oh, that means I have to go even deeper.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
kind
It
of like
means
this,
we have to
oh, we
feel
have
deeper. I think yeah,
yes,
it's like one of those things where we wanna try and figure out intellectually, so we don't have to deal with it emotionally. It's like, "Well, I
right?
got the answer now. Now I don't
Yeah,
have to go any deeper." And it's like, "Well,
yeah.
I don't know."
Actually, you do.
Yeah.
And
You gotta
I'm
do
a
the feeling now.
That's right. That's right. I want to share a little story speaking of feelings because that's something I've been working on is allowing my feelings to come. Actually, when my mom passed away a few years ago, that actually gave me permission to show emotion more, which was really bizarre how these things happen. But it gave me that permission to go, oh, it's okay to cry and who cares who's in front of you, right? To be vulnerable. So anyway, but what is it we have like over isn't it over 100 or a couple hundred different emotions? I forget. It's a lot. I just remember reading something, but it was a lot of emotions we have, and we're not even aware of half of them, right? We only know maybe a handful. So I was with a group of people. I was at an event. There's some people I know, a group of, I guess, acquaintances. They were all going out for lunch. I was, I felt I felt really uncomfortable. I was annoyed. I don't know what I was feeling that I didn't get invited. I felt left out, right? So I ended up going out with some other friends, which was fine. And then anyway, so the next day I was like, okay, why am I so like I was so upset about that I didn't get the invite, right? And one of my friends was going out with them and I was like, what is this? And there's been a few times where I felt left out with this group of people. Anyway, so the next day I'm out walking my dog. I live in the country. I'm walking my dog. I walk by this tree. I get clocked in the head by a tree branch. And I was like, ow, like that hurts. Like, I've walked by this tree hundreds of times. Never once got clocked in the head by the branch. Anyway, whatever, kept walking. And I'm just like, like, what is this? Like, I don't know what this feeling is. Anyway, turn around, come back. Don't I do the same thing? I get hit in the head by a branch. I was like, that hurts. And then all of a sudden I start laughing and I'm like, my feelings were hurt. That was the feeling. And because I couldn't figure it out, the universe goes, oh, here, if you can't figure it out, I'm going to clock you in the head so you'll clue in that this is. Anyway, I couldn't, I thought it was pretty funny, right? I mean, it hurt, but I was like, okay, my feelings were hurt. That was it because I didn't get the invite. It's not that I even really wanted to hang out with them anyway. Like I would have liked to, but it wasn't really a big deal. But it was like, yeah, it's like I wasn't invited with this group. That was it.
Mhm.
Just feeling hurt. So it's funny how these
Yeah,
little
it's
messages,
funny.
right here, let me clock you in the head.
Yeah.
So you get the word, the emotion, right? Anyway, I don't know why I brought that up. I just felt like it.
Oh, I appreciate it. I really like that. And it is funny how whatever we try to avoid, it somehow finds a way to get in our face.
Right?
And yeah, and I think as well, sometimes it's really just as simple as acknowledging it to be, oh, my feelings were hurt. Okay, yeah, of course they were.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in those situations, we maybe feel like, well, no, I'm okay. I'm fine. It doesn't matter. And then we try to just brush it off. We try to ignore it because we don't want to admit the truth that it did hurt, because we don't
Yeah.
want to admit that vulnerability.
Yeah.
But then that is just going to haunt us, or haunt can be a strong word, but I want to use it anyway. It's going to haunt us until we actually validate and acknowledge, oh, I was hurt. Because just through that, it's also allowing us to process it and be okay with it and to let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like you get the acknowledgement. I don't have to relive it over and over and over again. I don't have to hate them. I don't have to this, and you know what? They didn't have to invite me out. Like, like it doesn't matter. Like it really just doesn't matter. I just needed to find out what the emotion was that I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because we all like there was another event where they went their way, I went my way with my and there was no like it was okay. I was like, oh, okay, all right, we'll talk to you guys later,
Yeah.
right? We'll connect later and stuff like that, right? Like it didn't matter. And they don't even know
Yeah.
that I was upset about it, right? So that's the funny part, right?
Yeah.
So out to get
It's
me. I'm not gonna invite Karen because this is, she's like this, right?
But that's what happens if we try to deny how we feel. That's what happens. We get in our head.
Yeah.
If we try to deny or avoid our own vulnerability, we get in our head.
Yeah.
And if we do that long enough or enough years, it gets messy and really confusing.
Right? And then we start to believe it.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's when something like breath work is super helpful because it helps
Right.
you to release and process all that stuff so you can really get to the point where you think, oh, that that was it. And I've
Yes.
processed that and I'm okay now. Or I,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm capable of processing that now, or I recognize what that is now. There's like clarity, like you said before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
And there's, yeah. Did you want to add something?
nope, nope, you're good.
Okay. There's been a question that I've been not wanting to forget. So you're a massage therapist as well.
Yes.
And I'm
Hence,
curious, yeah, with your little pictures in the background of
yeah,
the
muscles.
anatomy,
Yeah.
muscles. I'm curious, have you ever worked both? I have two questions. First one is, have you ever worked with a client, both massage and breath work?
Yes, because I have to teach people how to breathe so they can relax their bodies.
Right,
And
right.
and a lot of people are very they feel they struggle with relaxing. So the
Mm,
type of breath work that I teach in classes, no, I don't do that one because
yeah,
it's technically out of my scope. People are coming in for massage, not that type of breath work, right?
yeah.
So I have to do that on the side, right? Um, However, I teach people like the box breathing. That's a fantastic one. I love that one. I
Hmm.
teach people how to just breathe properly, right? And because sometimes people are so wired, I'll, move their arm or something and I'll be like, okay, relax, because they're fighting me on it. And they're like, I am relaxed as their arm is stuck up in the air, right? Because sometimes I stretch people, but their arm is stuck up in the air. And it's like, I am relaxed. I'm like, no, because your arm is like being like this, right? So
Hmm.
many people are so not aware of what's happening in their body, right? They don't even know what it feels like to relax. So, and
Hmm.
sometimes people, once I get them to finally relax, they go to sleep. They're out like a light, right? And it's
Wow.
kind of like, oh, or it might take them an hour to finally, like, just, oh, now I feel like I could go to sleep. Okay, well, next time book in for an hour and a half because obviously it's taken, this long to relax. And sometimes
Yeah.
also too, if people are chatty when they get massage. Some people like it. Some people, I kind of like just gauge where people are at. Um, but if they're complaining about things, I just get, how about we just close our eyes and just focus on your
Mm.
breath and let's not talk, right? Because they need to chill out
Hmm.
and relax. So yeah, you can just kind of gauge where your client's at.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, in your answer to that, it answered my second question, which was, what have you noticed? Have you noticed a shift in people's body? So if you do breath work and massage, have you noticed a shift in their body? And you basically said, well, their body becomes more relaxed, more, you were saying how in the beginning they have their hand up in the air and it's very stiff and they don't even realize it. So is there anything else you notice with the body, or is it really just the relaxing of the muscles and things like that?
Well, there's a book called The Body Keeps a Score, and your
Oh,
body
yes,
keeps a
great book.
score of everything, every event, every emotion, everything that's happened in your life and past lifetimes. So a lot of times people will come in and it's they're tight from head to toe. So that tells me a few things. I mean, I'm no expert in nutrition. I know a little bit about nutrition, took it in school, holistic nutrition. However, you can be low in magnesium, potassium, you can be dehydrated, or you're hanging on and trying to, hold the world on your shoulders, right? A lot of times I feel like people like that they're very wound up and they have no clue how to relax because you're taught at a young age if you're not busy, you're lazy. So let's keep busy. And
Mm,
I find those people are super busy, don't know how to just slow down, doing 8 million things. So I do a little bit of coaching with them as well on okay, how can we delegate some stuff out to other people, right? However, I keep it mostly to massage, but I give people tips and tricks like the breath work or come to
mm.
what if I know they're holding on to a lot of trauma, I might say come to my breathwork class or let's book something outside of massage, because I also have my coaching program as well.
Yeah. It's really nice that people, they have those options available
Mhm.
to them,
Mhm.
so that if they are aware and they see it too, that they have an option right there
Yeah.
to move towards that. Because I can understand it can be pretty overwhelming finding people to help you with all these things.
Yeah.
So if you have one person that says, "Well, you can join this class, you can do this," it's really nice. I think it's a really nice thing to have.
Yeah. I like the what's the word I'm thinking of? That I have different tools. There
Yeah.
was a better word I was thinking of, but it doesn't matter. However, I like having the variety of things that I do because it's never just one thing, right? And we're so programmed that we want everything yesterday. I want all my problems to go away yesterday, right? And it doesn't. This is a forever
Mhm.
journey. It's a forever journey.
Absolutely.
So worth it.
It's so worth it.
Yeah.
And now I'm really curious. So there's breath work, and there's that specific kind of, I already forgot the name. You have to repeat it for me. But tell me a bit more about this specific kind of breath work that you do. And
Okay.
why do you feel so drawn to it? Quick break to say that there are three core skills we must learn to help us to heal from chronic skin picking. These are three core skills that I have seen time and time again get amazing people like you incredible results. The only catch is that you need to be willing to let go of instant gratification. This isn't a quick fix. They're not a band-aid solution. They will get you long-term lasting change, long-term lasting results. They really truly do work. Those who have seen, who truly implement these skills, they not only find that skin picking becomes more manageable, they find that they start to feel better in themselves. And I'm not saying these three skills will cure skin picking for you. Everyone is on their own journey and their own timeline. What I can say though is that if you really, truly want to do the deeper work, and you really, truly want to address the root cause, and you are okay with letting go of instant gratification, these three core skills will have a significantly positive impact on your life. And I want to share them with you for free. They are inside my 7-day healing loop challenge for chronic skin picking or any other kind of BFRB. You can access it through the link in the show notes. Just to let you know, this challenge will not be free for much longer. So if you're listening to this right now, go ahead and click on the link in the show notes so that you can gain lifetime free access to these three core skills and start making real, lasting, sustainable change in chronic skin picking. All you need to do is click on the link in the show notes where you'll get to learn more about the 7-day healing loop challenge and sign up for free lifetime access. Let's get back to the episode.
So why did I pick this breath work? Because this was the breath work I was introduced to. So I
Mm.
was away at a retreat. This gentleman, Giovanni, was at the retreat. He comes in on the second day and he does this breath work, this type of breath work with all of us, right? There's 20 of us at
Yeah.
the retreat.
And so, what's the name of the breath work?
Elemental rhythm.
Elemental rhythm. And that's also connected to Wim Hof because I'm definitely familiar with that name.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Giovanni studied with Wim Hof and is good friends with
Right.
Wim Hof, right? And then he studied with other people as well, and he kind of everything he learned about breath work and that kind of stuff, he created his own. So he called it
Mm.
elemental rhythm. So it's just a breath work that I've done for the last 6 years at least, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And then I decided a few years back that I wanted to become a facilitator. And I've tried other breath work. There was another one called somatic breath work. That was fantastic. Loved that one. Had a huge breakthrough in that one. Right. So there's many different ones. There's another one called 9D breath work where you put on headphones. I haven't tried that
Mm.
one yet, but it sounds pretty cool. But you just find what breath work technique works for you, right? And I know different yogis do different types of breath work as well. So yeah, I
Yeah.
just got into
And
this.
what do you appreciate, or what about this breath work do you find particularly powerful?
Mm,
Or, you know what? I
'cause
have a different question because I'm really curious. What is it? Like, what do you do?
So here's how it looks is I start people off, I do a little bit of intro, get people to set an intention, get them to get like work on their breath a little bit, take them through a little bit of guided meditation, get connected to the body, bring awareness to the body through breath. Then I get everybody to wear a blindfold and you stand up. I put on this wild music. I sometimes play the drum and I encourage people to shake, like just shake, right? Teach them how to get out of their head, listen to their body, just shake it out, scream it out, swear it out, do whatever you need to do. Just move it out. Because if you think of a deer in the wild, for instance, they're getting chased by a predator, right? And they go into fight or flight. Once they feel safe, they shake it off and then they go and eat grass. Humans, on the other hand, we get chased by the predator. We go into fight or flight, meaning you could get cut off in traffic, your spouse, your kids, I don't know, your boss, something has pissed you off. But then you need to tell this story over and over again. So we live in fight or flight because we have to tell the story to 8 million people 8 million times. Okay, I'm exaggerating on that. However, we have to relive that all the time. So we're hanging on to that. So the shaking, and even I do this at home sometimes if I need to move some energy, it's just like, I can't scream at home because my landlord would think something's happening. However, I do that in my car. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know how to move this. So I go in my car, have a good scream, usually ends up with a good cry, and then I feel fine. However, so in breath work, so we do that, play some wild music, get people to shake it out, and then they lie down wearing an eye mask, and I take them through 5 different songs, and we're doing different tempos of breath. So we start off with earth breath, which is a nice slow 4-beat count in and out. Then we put it up to water breath, where it's a 2-beat count, breathing in and breathing out. Then it's a one, and then we move into air breath, which is a 1-beat count, and then we move into fire breath. So we're ramping up the tempo, right? And then we do this hold, breath hold, then we release it, and then we do that for 5 songs. Then we go back into earth, right? And then I end it with another guided meditation, getting you connected to your inner child. This is generally where people really, shed some tears. Sometimes I laugh, like when I'm doing, but when I'm a participant, sometimes I've laughed because something funny comes up and whatever, right? So everybody's different, right? Or that's where they're feeling the peace and stuff. So go through a guided meditation, listen to a couple of songs afterwards, and then we do a sharing circle so people can share their experience because at the end of the day, my healing is your healing is my healing because we can learn from each other, right? And we're all on this journey together. So, and that's kind of how that goes. Now, you don't have to share, but it's always good if you can, right? So, and then that's it. And then people go home.
That
That's
sounds like such an incredible a journey. Essentially, it's a journey,
Yeah.
really taking people through a journey. And I love the connection piece at the end of it because
Yeah.
human connection is so important. And
Yeah.
that in itself is so healing. And so being able to share your experience at the end, if you feel comfortable with doing that, I can imagine really helps to bring that home for some people,
Yes.
really integrate it into them.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people, it takes them time, to be able to share and feel vulnerable
Yeah.
and connect and stuff like that. So sometimes it's a few sessions till someone finally goes, okay, I can share something. Because a lot of people are afraid to use their voice, right? Or
Mm,
show those tears. It's always the tears, right? That
yeah.
people have a hard time with. So, yeah.
Yeah, sounds like really beautiful work. And this conversation, I mean, I was already interested in it, but now I'm really, really curious to try it out and to
You
really
have to make
experience
it
it for
happen.
myself. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Cool.
And as well, I just want to ask real quick, what are some, if there are any, what are some common mistakes or really common misconceptions that people have about breath work or mistakes they make when getting into breath work?
As a part, I think people, well, they don't know how to breathe properly, right? They don't know what it feels like to, or like, I think, well, okay, so, okay, I'm trying to think about this question here. So I've had some people come in that they thought they, they came in to have an experience. And I always let people know through breath work, you may show these different emotions, these different sensations, all these different things that may come up for you, right? However, I've had a couple of people that said they would never do it again because they weren't ready to go to wherever they went to. Like one lady had a loss of her husband and she cried during breath work. She wasn't ready for that. But as I see it, from my perspective, is yeah, you were totally ready to let go of those tears, right? Because people want to hang on to their stuff because who are you without it, right?
Mm,
Yeah, and then there was another lady, she came in and she wasn't ready. She didn't realize how intense it can be and she wasn't ready to go down. I don't know what came up for her during breath work. Um, and then people started irritating her. Like the person who was beside her was irritating her because of the way he was breathing. But I warn people about these things, right? Like your hearing
yeah.
gets changed. You might sound like you're underground, or you might sound like the person beside you is irritating you, or I might be irritating you with my voice. Like who knows, right? I think some people it kind of shakes them up a little bit that their conscious mind says I'm not ready for this. But the unconscious mind says, yeah, and your body says, yeah, you are so ready for this because it won't bring up something. You're not going to be shown something you're not ready for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I learned that in plant medicine. It was like the medicine's not going to show you what you're not capable of dealing with,
Yeah.
right?
I
So,
really, yeah, I appreciate that you bring that up. And what I'm hearing and what you're sharing is that if you're going to go into a breathwork session, you got to be open to letting go.
hmm, yeah,
Even like being able to feel the resistance and being willing to let go of whatever it is to let go of, because it sounds like a lot of letting go that happens. And if
yeah,
you aren't ready to let go, if you can really feel that there's a lot of resistance there, or you're really clinging on to things, potentially there might be another step before breath work.
yeah, and
Potentially.
yeah, yeah, and it could be, and I always ask people, does anybody have any questions? Right?
Mhm.
'Cause that's the time. And I do my best to make it very clear of what can happen during breath work,
Yeah.
right? Some people, like I said, just feel peace. Like afterwards, they're like, oh, I feel so relaxed. I feel so,
Mhm.
what's that word? Peaceful, calm, that kind
Yeah.
of thing, which is a beautiful place to be in. And we don't even realize that that's what that feels like.
Mhm.
So again, it's
Yeah.
every experience, but every time you release something, you release that something. So
Mhm.
that one particular thing isn't going to happen again. Now there's different
Yeah.
layers. I mean, it's like
Of
peeling an onion,
course. Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. And actually, as you were talking, what another thing that came to my mind, I was just reflecting on what you were sharing. It sounds like, and this honestly, this happens a lot in very different areas, but people who don't want to really have to face themselves, don't want to have to process the painful emotions that they have, they want to find something that will just kind of fix them or just make them feel better. And it sounds like breath work, it's going to help, but you're probably not going to feel great the whole time. It's going to bring up stuff that is going to be uncomfortable. And for people who are looking more for a fix rather than true deep processing and reintegration and connection with themselves, it's going to be probably, oh, I wasn't looking for reality here. I was looking for something that can just make me feel better right now. And
Yeah.
this was too real.
Yeah. Yeah. And I never know what's going to come up. When I do breath work, I never know what's going to come up for me. I just
Yeah.
know something's going to come up, and it could be a little uncomfortable. I know it's something I need to see,
Hmm.
and and it's okay to be vulnerable. I'm still working on that part of things, and in some different ways. But I've also learned to not be so hard on myself too.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
right? Like, things happen when they
Hmm.
happen. When you're ready to let go of something, it's going to happen.
Yeah. I
And
so
you know,
agree.
don't we want a life with more peace and calm at the end of the day? Right? And if you want more peace and calm in the world, I always say, if you want to make a change in the world, it has to start with you. If you want more peace and calm in the world, then go find your peace and calm first.
Yeah.
It's the ripple effect, right?
Yeah. So agree. And I know that the listeners, everyone wants more peace and calm.
Right?
I think
Who
that's anyone
doesn't?
who's in personal development, anyone who listens to a podcast like this, they want more peace and calm. That's one of the reasons why they're probably listening to this, like looking for answers, looking for ways. Like, where is that? Where is it? Where is
Yeah,
it? How can I cultivate more of that in my life?
right? And you've got a
Mhm.
great podcast because I listen to some of them. So
Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
you're
Yeah,
welcome.
and whoops, I threw my pen just then. And, as someone in the personal development field, I've also just found another thing that can help me to find more of that peace and calm, which is breath work. And I really appreciate you having this conversation with me and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge because it's been very insightful, I gotta say.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've enjoyed our conversation. I can't believe how fast time goes, right?
Right?
Like, it's amazing how quickly when you're having a great conversation, it's like, oh my gosh, an hour went by already. How did that happen?
Yep, yep, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so I have two questions. The first one is if people feel really drawn to you and they resonate with your words, what you're saying, with your energy, how can they find you?
You can find me through my website, KarenTheimer.com. My last name is spelled T-H, is it on here? No, it's not even on here. Theimer .com. You can find me on social media. I'm mostly on Facebook because, I've been working on my social media skills and mostly on Facebook. I'm now doing more work on Instagram as well. So that's where you can find me.
Beautiful. And can people also, because you do a lot of in-person stuff, can people also book online
Yep.
sessions with you?
Yeah, so if they go, so I do breath work online and I do it in person. So obviously you and I unfortunately can't. It's not going to be easy for us to do it in
Yeah.
person unless I fly out there or you come out here. However,
One day, maybe.
that could be fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, so they can book online, they can reach out if you want to connect and want to just have a chat and see how maybe, we could work together or maybe I could give you a little bit of insight. Feel free to reach out. I love to have a great conversation with somebody. So you can reach me out on Messenger, through my website. Yeah, everything is there. And
Beautiful.
download my
And
PDF. And download my PDF. I have a free PDF
oh,
on
very
there, how to
cool. What's it
declutter
called?
your mind, how to declutter your mind. That one's a really good one. That one changed my world. And yeah, so they can download that. I'm starting doing lives on Mondays on Facebook, so lots of places.
Excellent. So you're all over the place. Well, I'll put all the links for that in the show notes if anyone wants to get closer, get more connected to you. And now for my last question. Well, not really a question, because I already decided what I wanted to ask you about, like what I wanted to ask you for.
Yeah.
Could you, just a really simple breath work technique that, could you share with us a very simple breath work technique that the listeners and myself can take away for the end of the call, for the end of the conversation?
You want me to take you through a quick little one?
Yeah, whatever one you feel like would be really valuable to
Okay.
the listeners and is easy to take away. But yes, please,
Perfect.
I'm okay to
Okay.
do this with
So,
you.
you know when you get that feeling like you're spinning, like you don't know which, like it's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm on a hamster wheel and I don't know how to get off, and you're like here, there, everywhere, like you're all frazzled, okay? And I think most people who are probably listening can relate to that. Here's what I tell my clients to do. And I want you to close your eyes, okay? So close your eyes and I want you to just tap on your breastbone. Yep. So close your eyes, tap on your breastbone and just say, I am here. It's better to say it out loud, but it's up to you if you want to say it out loud or to yourself, whatever you're comfortable with. I am here.
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 Now put both hands over your heart. Take a deep breath in and then breathe out. I am here.
I
Meaning,
am here.
perfect. Now take a deep breath in and then let it go through your mouth. Let's just do one more breath in and then breathe out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That
How do
was
you feel?
beautiful.
Right?
Very
Yes,
grounding.
that's exactly it. So what happens is that, and great job, by the way, and thank you for
Thank you.
allowing me to share that and participating. I do this a lot because, again, when we feel like we're spinning and we don't know which way to turn and make a decision and all this rah, if we're getting distracted by the outside noise, so anything outside of us, so the world, right? When we tap on here on your breastbone, it reminds us that, wait a minute, we're here. We're in our own body. We're in our heart. We're in ourselves. This is us, right? The breath helps to calm down the nervous system. The affirmation of I am here, saying it 3 times. Again, I tell people to say it out loud, but again, whatever you're comfortable with, it's always more powerful out loud, but it still works either way. It reminds us out loud that we are here on our own body. And like you said, you felt more relaxed. Do a few deep breaths, breathe in through your nose and just breathe out and let those shoulders come down. And then carry on with your day. It'll help you think more clearly. It gets you back in here.
Wow, thank you so, so much for sharing that. I'm definitely going to be taking that with me and going to
Yay.
be implementing that into my days because there's definitely
Nice.
times where I feel getting into my head and starting to overthink and mind is racing. And I think for a lot of us, especially in this very fast-paced world, it's a very, very common thing. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing that with me
You're
and the listeners. It's an awesome little gem, another little gem to take away from this conversation. And thank you so, so much for showing up here, for sharing your knowledge and your time, and for having just an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed myself.
Oh, thank you as well. And I look forward to staying connected and hopefully one of your followers, listeners, I hope you have something that you took away from this and would love to connect.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
There was so much value packed into that conversation. If you loved it, if you enjoyed it, if you're still listening, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. It takes a max of 30 seconds, and it's a small way for you to support what it is that I'm doing so I can keep episodes coming to you every single week. And of course, we all like written reviews. It makes me super happy to hear your thoughts and what you think and what you love, and it also helps to push this podcast out to more people. Thank you so much for dedicating part of your week to hang out with me, and I look forward to seeing you next week for the next episode of Untapped Confidence.